On behalf of the board of directors of the Kerouac House, I'd like to welcome you all here to the house where Jack wrote his famous novel Dharma Bums. We're very excited this evening to have a special farewell reading from our current writer-in-residence, Steve Chang. Steve Chang is a Taiwanese writer and educator from the San Gabriel Valley, California. His work appears in Epiphany, Guernica, North American Review, and the Southampton Review, among other places. He has also been commended by the Iron Horse Prize, the Plowshares Emerging Writers Contest, the Story Quarterly Fiction Prize, and even by some of his friends. He is thankful for the support offered by the MacDowell, the KHN Center for the Arts, and the Carolyn Moore Writers House, and the Kerouac Project. He edits fiction at OK Donkey and holds an MFA from Cornell. And without further ado, Steve Chang, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. This feels a little silly, but let's do this. Okay. Audio sounds okay. Okay. Video looks okay. Am I in frame and all that? Okay. I'm going to do this. Fuck that. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you everybody for being here on a Friday night. Thank you to the Kerouac Project for bringing us all together. It's an honor and a pleasure to share this time and space with all of you here in the house and in Orlando. I really like it here. I get to blast air conditioning in November. It's a luxury, very nice. And I also like Orlando because it's really similar to two places I consider home. The first is Taiwan, where I was born. It's a semi-tropical island. Out there, the people are kind of Chinese, but more jungle. Warm and friendly, like here, without pretension. We like scooters, plastic stools, and rockin' flip-flops like these. Boom. Things feel a little impermanent there. There's no castles, because when the biome and vegetation feels like Jurassic Park, there's a sense that none of us should be here. We're living on borrowed time. It's kind of like Orlando. The second hometown that Orlando reminds me of is the San Gabriel Valley. It's an immigrant majority area of Los Angeles. A lot of strip malls, sidewalks, sunshine. It's suburban, but a little sleazy. Like here. Right? Be honest. Orlando, I seen what goes on out here. I tell people Orlando is like living somewhere between Disneyland and a strip club. Pleasant, polite, but there's something lawless around the edges, right? There's something a little wild, something a little weird. So I thought I would read something about borrowed time and lawlessness. Doubly appropriate since this is the story that got me into this residency. So if anyone, like David here, is thinking about applying, you can check it out and be like, oh, that's all it takes? Like, what the fuck? That's easy. I can do this. Yeah, you could do it. I'm bringing your dreams closer to reality. Okay. But first, let me tell you a little bit about my work. I write a lot about criminality and mental illness. It's really fun stuff. Don't worry. It's fun. And I circle these topics because, one, these are categories created by the failings of capitalism. In fact, they're vital to the functioning of that system. And I'm very interested in how and why. How these systems do not meet the needs of the underclasses that are also burned like fuel. And two, I know firsthand what happens to people who get sorted into these categories. For me, I had just turned 13 when I caught my first felony case. Very stupid stuff. I was selling weed for someone I looked up to. And once I caught that case, now my name was in the system. I was on their radar. I lived in a separate category. And I could feel that the world looked at me differently, that it treated me differently. And that changes a person. So that incident took me off the path of very normal middle-class aspirations and onto a very different path. And I would spend years associating with groups of other criminal youth, and eventually I would be incarcerated, etc. Let's fast forward. Let's fast forward a bit. Yeah, as I got older, as I was looking back, trying to write about that stuff, I noticed that I was really struggling. I still romanticized it. So all that stuff I got involved in, I really liked it. The whole lifestyle. Yeah. No redemption arc, okay? There's no like, oh, I regret it. Oh, I found God. No. Shut up. That's bullshit. No. All my role models were from gangs. And that world was the source of all my aspirations at the time. Oh, it's the past calling. Oh, it's got unfinished business with me. Yeah. So that kind of attitude, it's hard to understand, right? Yeah, it's hard to understand for me too. That's what I'm trying to tell you right now. It's hard to understand. Yeah, I didn't know my younger self, the material conditions of my existence, all of that stuff. I didn't understand that Asian immigrants had been assigned specific roles in the American project, but I could just feel it. It was like an atmospheric pressure in the racial animosity and violence we encountered when we stepped out of line, in the disinterest from institutions and the law when we needed some help. I could tell nobody cared. It was very obvious. Nobody gave a shit. Okay? So, when people like me started acting out, when we started adopting the behaviors and values that were used to violate us, can you see why that might feel like self-determination? And can you see how it's actually cyclical behavior? So we're acting out a trauma loop, right? And that's at the heart of a lot of criminality. Unmet needs, unacknowledged trauma. The stories are fun, though. I'm telling you, the stories are fun, though. Don't worry, okay? They're going to be fun. Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to read from a piece that hopefully illustrates how some of these ideas play out. It's called Tell Me What I'm Waiting For. Thank you. Okay. On my last day in, our laundry shift stacks 100 bedrolls over quota, so CO lets us take an early lunch. The radio's blasting ranchero music, and the whole Whites crew is leaning against the orange plastic bins, bologna sandwiches in hand, telling jokes and laughing into their fists. So, says He-Man. He squirts some mustard on a bun and throws the packet into his rattling lunch sack. You know what I think? I hand him my carton of punch. Don't think, I say. Here, have my juice. He goes, but what are you going to do out there? This is Wayside. We're doing county time in Castaic, and he's talking like it's Shawshank Redemption. Ever since he started short timing, he's been stressing it hard. 40-something days to go, and he's busting out in hives all over, on his arms, his neck. It's hard to take him serious. Plus, he has girl hands, real clean and slender. Sometimes when things got heavy and we needed a laugh, I go, hey, He-Man, give me a hand with this. And then I point to my dick. It was funniest in the showers. So I tell him, He-Man, you're stressing me out. And he's like, shouldn't you be stressed? My God. If I were him, maybe. In here, he's got us. He's He-Man. But out there, he's some itchy kid named Hero who steals like steaks from pavilions and stashes them under his bed until that shit looked like hunks of butchered werewolf, furry and gray, who doesn't even know why he does it. Hey, He-Man, I say. I shove my hand down my pants. He says, I know. I shake my dick around. Okay, I get it. Boss man's voice comes booming from the doorway. Count time. We're taking you boys home. We toss our garbage, tuck in our shirts. We line up. He does check marks on his clipboard until he gets to me. Trustee, you're going home. You in a rush? He means all the bed rolls we did. I go, yup. Well, don't jizz all over your fucking pants about it. He pokes my chest. He knows my kind. I'll be back in a month, etc., etc., looking all pleased like his insights have stunned me. It's all right, though. I get it. Who doesn't need work? He finishes the count and yells, start walking, nuts to butts. Let's go, fellas. We put our hands in our pockets and shuffle along. Back in the dorm, I pack up my personals. I take my photos down. Mostly clippings from the LA Times food section. Those photographers work magic. The plates look so good, all shining and luscious. I will razor them out and dab a little toothpaste to stick them on the green posts of my rack. So many that they formed a flaky bark all over. I slept in a forest of dreams. I imagined taking my girlfriend Kathy to all sorts of places. I had to. It wasn't like before. Back then, I'd go away and she'd find another man and write me hate mail about him. That was her way of saying, I miss you. Then I'd come home and she'd stop missing me. But we'd be together again. We had our little routines since high school. Now, she was at UCLA for her master's and we've been living together out in Palms. So this time, I got a 4-page letter talking about opportunities and options. That shit tripped me out. Because why did it sound like a threat? So I'm scraping old toothpaste crust with a razor and plotting on how to trick her into thinking that I'm the opportunity, that I'm the number one option, when He-Man peeks from top bunk. Do you even have a ride? I go, my girl's picking me up. He says, Kathy? I thought that's your ex. Spider yells from his corner, she was his ex, all right? Things happen. Spider gets it. He's not even from LA. He's from Laotian Gangster Crib out in Fresno. But you know what they say. Come on vacation, leave on probation. They should put that shit on some postcards, to be honest. Vivian, I'm sorry for cursing. Vivian, don't listen. Don't be like me. As for me, the PO had come knocking at dawn with the goofs in the boots looking for dope, but only turned up a triple beam and empty baggies. Pretty good, right? But then they keep looking and, well, find a black 357. I'm like, oh my, how did that get there? It had rusty patches like barnacles and ocean floor orange. I'd forgotten I even had it. Some fiend had probably traded me for a teener, that's all. I'm no killer. But there we go. I catch a case, I'm a felon with a firearm. Our whole module has some story like that. A bunch of addicts and drunk drivers and wife beaters. Things happen. It was all a matter of luck. I show He-Man a photo of me and Kathy on the Santa Monica Pier. Look at this. You wouldn't want to go home to this? In the photo, I'm looking at her and she's looking at me. The carnival lights blurring into madness around us. That's what it was like back then. But now, I don't know. That photo had come with her second letter. Not 4 pages. No. Only a sentence. I can wait if you can tell me what I'm waiting for. That's the title, by the way. That's where the title comes from. He-Man swats the photo away, a little defensive. I have people. All right then. See? It's important to try. I believe that. Then the yard door pops open and the whole dorm charges it, stripping off the red tops and hooting as they run. And He-Man says, you ever notice how nobody runs when they go home? I think, holy shit, give it a rest. I look at Spider, who yells, hey He-Man, shut up and give me a hand with this. He reaches into his red bottoms and shakes his dick around. I'm laughing. Spider's laughing. I slap He-Man on the neck, and like a switch got hit, finally he laughs too, the way he's supposed to. For chow time, it's Salisbury steak and those carrot chips I like, with that honey glaze. It's TV dinner food. And the whole Asian car is chatty, gassing me up. I could play scratchers. I could smell girls. I'm lucky. Old Ray, the dope fiend, says, "You know what I miss?" He tells us about firing up the gas torch for an all-night smoke session, bringing the flame down just right so it's a tiny blue dome. He pops a chef's kiss with rosebud fingers. Mwah. I'm like, "Damn, brother, don't you have kids?" He goes, "And?" It's like we're playing dinner party in the dungeons downtown when the 24/7 lockdown and no program gets to be a little much. Posting up by the bars to shout the game down the block. "Hey, Denver 7, what are you bringing?" And they talk about Slurpees, In-N-Out burgers, Mom's noodle soup. Man, listen. Spider says, "When I get out, I'm going to rent a motel, cop an 8-ball, smoke that shit to the head." Old Ray points at Spider like, "Right there. Yes, sir. Right there." "See?" I tell He-Man. "You've got to want things." He stirs his mashed potato, all gloomy. And now even old Ray is rolling his eyes. Not this again. "Oh, I want things." Spider licks the gravy from his spoon. "Trust me, I'm not ready to die for a while. Call some girls over." He whistles like lovesick Looney Tunes. "Do some dirt with the homeboys." He-Man mumbles, "Yeah, sounds great." So I'll tell him I'll start with Japanese food, sashimi. I'd eat fish the way that sharks eat fish. I'd eat 10 pounds of fucking fish. I'll mail him some pictures about it, and he could remember how good life was on the streets. Spider nods along, thinking it over. "Yeah, I guess that sounds okay too." He-Man knocks on the table and leaves. I mop the day room with the other trustees and call my old crimey Ken. He's up in the bay now, working at some tourist shop, slinging Bruce Lee posters, jade, souvenirs. Our last convo, I said, "Selling Bruce Lee shit? I don't know if that's me." He was like, "You think that's me?" But, things happen. I tell Ken about He-Man, how he's my bunkie. He's not doing too well. And Ken goes, "Fool, I'm paying $1 a minute. What do you want?" I look over at the racks. He-Man's got a towel around his neck like he's about to sue for a car crash. And he's slapping at it randomly to not scratch his hives. I gotta say, he looked a little cracked out. I tell Ken that my bunkie could use somewhere to go. A little support. He's trying to do good. Ken laughs. "What are you, lonely? Huh? You bringing a whole cell block?" "Fool, nobody knows you up here. This is freedom, a new life." I turn back to the wall. "Yeah," I say, true. Do good? Shit, what do you think we're doing up here?" Then it clicks differently, our last convo. He goes, "I said, start over, right?" Our calls are monitored, so I laugh. "Ah, you're fucking with my freedom." And Ken goes, "No way, I would never. Anyways, I say. And he sighs. He actually sighs. "Give me one idea," he says. "One good idea." After mail call, all the Asians and others come by my rack. It's a party. I'm handing out the last of my store. Pork rinds, soups, Snickers. I give away my toothpaste, then a half bar of soap. I pass the white trustee top to Spider, and the whole car daps him up. He'll be calling the shots now. We all knew it would be him. I yell into the day room, "Hey, He-Man!" The Paisas are watching the Dodgers game, and he's doing a Where's Waldo among them. "Get in here," I say. And you know what he does? He waves me away. On my last day in. I'm trying to feel like Oprah doing a giveaway. But after that, it's like I'm handing out cursed items. Like I'm passing on the curse. I give a roll of TP and my shower shoes to old Ray. He pounds me on the back and almost cries. Then the man in the booth is calling my number. "Roll it up." The airlock door pops open, and it's like I won the lottery. The whole car is parading me through the day room, and the brothers in the woods are yelling, Don't let the door hit ya where the good Lord split ya. And y'all come back now, you hear? On my way out, I clap He-Man on the back. I tell him to stay strong, keep his head up. And he goes, I don't want to hear that stuff anymore. Okay, then get in touch when he hits the streets. He goes, you're just saying that. Oh my God. What do you do with people who don't want to be helped? On that pity party bullshit. I go, yeah, you need some dreams? Here. I pull a handful of clippings from my personals and sprinkle it like confetti over his head. Get your shit together, you sad bitch. It's like, what does he want to do in here? Drown? In fucking Wayside? He-Man brushes the bits of paper away. I know what you're gonna do out there. Don't act like you're better than me. This shit is nothing, I say. Just do your time and go home. And he goes, if you really think this is nothing, that means they got to you. Oh, is that what it means? Forget him. I step into the airlock with the whole car waving, but when I look back, they're already walking away. The door closes on my last side of the dorm. He-Man unrolling his mat and taking over my bunk. Old Ray and Spider crouched by his legs. They slap my shower shoes on the floor, the sound flashing like sparks, to test how much life they had left in them. I think, is that good? Yeah, let's stop there. All right. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here.